to Behind the Badge Foundation Law Enforcement Family Network Flashlight Series. My name is Cindy Cinema. Today we're going to be joined by Chris and Lacy Wolff, our friends from Texas again, and they're going to talk to us about the importance of tribe. 2020 has been a year full of so many challenges, and one of those challenges has been isolation. Chris and Lacy are going to talk to us about how important it is to find the people that make you feel like you belong.
Hi everybody, we're Chris and Lacy Wolff, and we're back with another talk. Today we're going to be talking about the concept of tribe, and this was a concept that was coined by Sebastian Junger in his book Tribe.
Definitely check out the book, it's really great. We have a soft spot in our hearts for Sebastian Junger because he wrote this book about a unit that Lacy and I were working with in Vicenza, Italy, 173rd Airborne Brigade Combat Team, and their deployment to Korangal Valley in Afghanistan. And he went there to talk about, war, and he ended up making the documentary Restrepo, and he learned some very interesting things, and the guys loved him, and we love him for that because he really became part of their tribe. He was there with them through the good, the bad, the ugly, and so they really took him in, and he became one of them. And he noticed something very interesting in that these guys were really tight, they were together, even in spite of all the struggles and challenges they had, the most challenges they found were when they redeployed, especially when they came back to CONUS, the United States. They didn't have this group of guys around them. They didn't have this community that they belonged to, and they no longer had this purpose. They weren't watching out for their best friends, making sure they stayed alive and doing the mission that the United States had asked them to do. That's a TPS report that guy's holding in his hand, It's hard to go from that because as humans, we evolved in tribes, right? Even just a couple hundred years ago, for us to be part of a group like this would have been normal for us. It's only in the last few hundred years that we are so isolated on our own. And what Sebastian Junger found is there's no tribes in affluent societies. You think about our food, we buy it at the grocery store. Our safety, we've got police that take care of that. Taking care of our old and our sick, we've got EMS to take care of that. There's no bucket brigades because we got fire department to take care of that. You don't get the same sense of community that we once had. Unless your family looks like this, right? You have a family that you would do anything for, but you don't have that same tribe. Lacy and I are blessed. We live in a big house, just the two of us.
With our two kids,
yeah.
And a dog.
And a dog. But aside from that, we have to get in our car if we're going to visit our next closest family member. And so Sebastian Junger defines it. A tribe is a community that you live in and people you share resources with and would die to defend. And not too many Americans, affluent Americans, especially in these days, have that. There's no community, there's no purpose. And we get these spikes in depression, suicide, anxiety. Why is that?
Substance abuse, people wanting to just mask that feeling.
When you think about the Wild West, or something like that, where we're struggling for survival, these things, you don't have time to be depressed. You don't have time for anxiety. You're trying to help your tribe and trying to survive, right? So as first responders, we're actually very lucky. It's something that we need to utilize more is our tribe, right? So this is my tribe. I definitely share resources with them. Sometimes we borrow each other's coffee, at the firehouse between A shift and B shift. I wouldn't go out and trade my life for any of these guys, but if there's a sliver of chance that I could save someone, I would put my life on the line every single time. And I'm 100% sure that they would do the same thing for me, right? So we're definitely a community. And we want to talk about bringing your family, being part of that.
Yeah, and this is something that we really work hard on within our fire department here is creating a family environment. We do activities together. The spouses, when COVID hit, we started doing a weekly Zoom call just to stay connected because we weren't seeing each other. And it's important because your spouse is going out and doing this really hard job and they're experiencing all this stress and trauma, and they bring that home, and we also need to feel like we're a part of that tribe. We're an extension of the tribe. So creating, in the military, we call them family readiness groups. If we could create something similar to that, and I think that's one of the great things that your organization does, is that they build this feeling and that network for the family members.
So if you're a leader, I challenge you to go out, build a tribe amongst your people. If you're a chief or like a lieutenant, or even a corporal or sergeant out there, get your people together. Make sure that, if you have someone, make sure you know what their kids' names are, about how old they are, what's their spouse's name.
Throw hatchets together.
That's right.
During that picture.
This is one of Lacy's colleagues right here.
This is Dr. Rita Watkins. She's the executive director of the Law Enforcement Management Institute of Texas, and she's just a phenomenal person and facilitator of education in the law enforcement community. And she talks about just the importance of talking to your spouse, making them a part of your tribe. So when you come home, if you're not sharing what happened to you over the course of that day, every day that you don't share what's happening, you're laying bricks in the relationship that is probably most important to you, because that's your partner for life. And so she says you need to have this conversation with your spouse. Talk about what version do they want to hear when you come home at the end of the day. Do they want to hear the Disney version? No gory details, everything was great, I saved the day, I was the hero. Do you want to hear the evening news version where it's just going to be just, the flash briefing with the little bit of detail? Or do they want to hear the down and dirty, gory details of everything that happened? We also want to remember that there is secondary trauma that can occur when you share too much information, but it should be up to your spouse, not you, what type of information they take in, because they know what they can handle. But have that conversation so that they also feel like they're part of the tribe.
Yeah, I'm not a great communicator, and a lot of times I just assume that everybody's going to want the Disney version of what happened. And like Lacy said, sometimes you got to give your spouse more, bring them into your tribe, make them be a part of that for sure. So there's definitely some things that we just probably can't or shouldn't talk to our families about, right? And that's where peer support comes in really, really well, and utilizing your tribe to help each other out, right? We would do anything for these people. Make sure that within your tribe, it is known, hey, you need something, you pick up the phone, you call me. We have designated peer support members in our fire department, so we get calls all the time, but that doesn't mean that our guys can't pick up the phone and call anybody. Make sure that you're not just going home and say, hey, when I'm home, that's something else, because you're really not there for your tribe members like you could be and like we all want to be. So remember, your tribe connects you to your purpose, right? So all of these people want the same thing that you do. We're all in it for the same mission. And so fall back on it. Remind them, what's your purpose? Why did you get into law enforcement? Why did you get into fire? Corrections, EMS. Rely on each other for that. So it gives you your sense of community and your sense of purpose. So.
Yeah, thank y'all so much for all you're doing to keep your communities and our country safe right now. It's a really hard time. We're going to get through this, and the more you lean on that tribe, the better it's going to be.
Take care of yourself, take care of your tribe. Thanks.
Hi everyone, Tracy here. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to see more videos on the Behind the Badge Foundation Law Enforcement Family Network Flashlight Series. You can also learn more about Behind the Badge Foundation on our website, Facebook, and Instagram pages at behindthebadgefoundation.org. Thank you for joining us and finding our together.